Mad Jack Churchill. You might be thinking, who is this? Or, that sounds like a nickname. But no, Mad Jack Churchill was an actual person. And his story is one of the most remarkable and eccentric in military history. He was a soldier who lived by his own rules, making him the most unconventional soldier of World War II. Born in 1906 in Hong Kong, John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill, known as Jack, grew up in England. His childhood was filled with adventure and passion. He was an accomplished athlete, excelling in activities like archery, rugby, and surprisingly, swordsmanship. This wasn't just a hobby for Jack, it was a way of life. But as with many people who live on the edge of normal, Jack wasn't content with just playing sports and enjoying a peaceful life. He dreamed of something more. When he was 18, Jack Churchill joined the British Army. It wasn't long before his personality and unique skills caught the attention of his superiors. He was a man who embraced a life of danger, and that was exactly what he got when World War II broke out in 1939. Now, before we dive deeper into his military career, you need to understand the kind of man Jack was. In a time when soldiers were equipped with rifles, machine guns, and grenades, Jack stood out because he was never without a few peculiar weapons: a long bow, a Scottish broadsword, and a set of bagpipes. Yes, bagpipes. But this wasn't just for show. Jack was a man who believed that warfare should be fought with flair and honor. He wasn't content to just follow the conventional methods of war. He was determined to make an impression on both his enemies and his comrades. And he did. Let's talk about his war record. His war. Churchill's first taste of combat came in 1940, during the early days of the Second World War. By then, he had already made a name for himself as a man who wasn't afraid to break the rules. He was deployed to the British Expeditionary Force in France. While most soldiers were hiding behind their rifles and sandbags, Jack was charging into battle with his broadsword in hand. He was known for playing the bagpipes to rally his troops and sometimes to taunt the enemy. One of his favourite tunes was The March of the Cameron Men, which, according to some accounts, he played while crossing enemy lines. But it wasn't all fun and games. In 1940, during the Dunkirk evacuation, Jack led his troops through German lines to rescue British soldiers trapped on the beaches of France. This was a daring and heroic action that earned him a reputation as one of the most fearless officers in the British Army. He wasn't content with the idea of running away. He believed in taking the fight to the enemy. His actions during the evacuation were just one example of how he combined his love of adventure with his military skills. But it wasn't long before he would make another decision that would cement his legacy as one of the most unconventional soldiers in World War II. In 1943, Jack Churchill joined the British Commandos. These were elite forces designed for unconventional warfare, and it was here that his skills would truly shine. During his time with the Commandos, Jack became known for his extraordinary courage and his unusual tactics. He would charge at enemy positions, broadsword in hand, slashing his way through enemy defenses. His weapon of choice, however, was not a machine gun or a rifle, but his bow and arrows. That's right, Jack would fire arrows into enemy positions, even during battles. This unconventional weapon was a symbol of his unorthodox approach to warfare, and it made him famous within the ranks of the British Army. But Jack didn't just fight on the ground. He took part in one of the most daring raids of the war, the Italian campaign. In 1943, he was part of the raid on the German-occupied island of Sark in the Mediterranean Sea. The raid was a complete success, and Jack earned a Distinguished Service Order for his bravery. He was also awarded a military cross, and his reputation as a mad soldier grew even further. Despite the horrors of war, Jack Churchill never lost his love for adventure. In 1944, he took part in the Normandy landings, one of the most significant and dangerous operations of World War II. He led his men with his trademark sword, bow and bagpipes, charging onto the beaches with the same enthusiasm and passion that he had shown in earlier battles. This was a man who refused to let anything, not bullets, bombs or tanks, take away his sense of purpose. He lived for the thrill of combat, and he fought with everything he had, but not even Mad Jack could escape the dangers of war forever. In 1944, during a raid in the south of France, Jack was captured by German soldiers. He was taken as a prisoner of war, but even in captivity, Jack Churchill never lost his spirit. He spent the rest of the war in a German POW camp. During his time in captivity, Jack continued to impress his fellow prisoners with his strength of character, even playing his bagpipes to lift the spirits of those around him. After the war, he was released and returned to England, where he lived quietly until his death in 1996. Mad Jack Churchill's story is more than just the tale of a soldier with a love of adventure and a flair for the dramatic. It's about what happens when you refuse to follow the norms and expectations of society. Jack didn't care about fitting into the mold of what a soldier should be. He didn't care about being conventional. He cared about being brave, doing the impossible, and making his own mark on history. Churchill's story teaches us a valuable lesson about individuality and courage. He was a man who took risks, defied the odds, and fought in a way that no one else dared to. His bravery and unique personality left a lasting impression on the soldiers who fought alongside him, and his legacy continues to inspire people today. In the end, Mad Jack Churchill's story is a reminder of the power of being true to oneself, even in the most chaotic and dangerous circumstances. His unconventional approach to war may have been mad, but it was also effective. And it showed the world that sometimes the most remarkable heroes aren't the ones who follow the rules, but the ones who make their own. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of one of World War II's most fascinating and unique soldiers, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more stories of extraordinary individuals from history.